This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. An explosion tore through a cafe in Russia's second-largest city, killing a well-known military blogger and strident supporter of the war in Ukraine. Some reports said a bomb was embedded in the bust of a blogger that was given to him as a gift. Russian officials said he was killed Sunday as he led a discussion at a cafe in the historic heart of St. Petersburg. 25 people were wounded in the blast, 19 of them hospitalized. The U.S. has urged Russia to immediately release 2 Americans who are being detained. AP correspondent Mimi Montgomery reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is asking his Russian counterpart to immediately release a Wall Street Journal reporter as well as another imprisoned American, Paul Whelan. In a rare phone call with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Blinken expresses grave concern over the Kremlin's recent detention of journalist Evan Gershkovich on espionage allegations, according to a State Department summary. Calling for their immediate release, he also conveys Whelan, a Michigan corporate security executive imprisoned in Russia on espionage charges, is wrongfully detained. According to the State Department, Blinken and Lavrov also discussed the importance of creating an environment that permits diplomatic missions to carry out their work. I'm Mimi Montgomery.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday the military situation around the city of Bakhmut, besieged by Russian forces for months, was, quote, especially hot. Russian forces have for months been trying to encircle and capture Bakhmut, a town of 70,000 before the Russian invasion launched over a year ago. Find more on our website, voanews.com, or follow us for the latest news on the VOA mobile app. This is VOA News. The viral video of a man dumping yogurt over the heads of 2 unveiled women, a mother and her daughter, at a dairy shop in Iran sparked condemnation from Iranian women on Sunday. Reuters correspondent Chris Dignam reports.
In Iran's capital, Tehran, 16-year-old Malika, who did not provide a surname, said it was not the man's place to confront the women, a mother and her daughter, for not wearing a hijab.
You can't throw a tub of yogurt on a woman's head and think you did something great and to guide someone in the right direction. It's that person's business. She wanted to dress like that, and she dressed however she wanted. It's no one's business.
But after the attack, President Ibrahim Raisi reiterated that wearing the hijab is the law in Iran.
Reuters correspondent Chris Dignam. There's grieving and hard work ahead in a handful of U.S. states left reeling after fierce tornadoes last week. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn reports.
There were dozens of tornadoes cutting a wide swath of damage throughout the Midwest and South, with 11 states affected. More than 24 people were killed, and homes and businesses have been pulverized into splinters. The mayor of Little Rock, Frank Scott Jr., says it will take months to recover.
Flattening of neighborhoods, flattening of commercial buildings.
At least 4 people died in the storms in Arkansas, where FEMA officials toured the damage this weekend. At least 9 were killed in just one county in Tennessee. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Donald Trump is set to surrender Tuesday in New York on charges related to hush money payments and then return to Florida to hold a news conference at his Mar-a-Lago resort. AP correspondent Julie Walker reports.
Trump flies to New York Monday, where security is tight, spends the night at Trump Tower. Tuesday, the former president goes to court for booking, arraignment, and the unsealing of his indictment.
Where we stand before the judge, we say not guilty. We set schedules to file motions and whatnot or discovery, and we move forward and get out of there.
That's his lawyer, Joe Tacopina, on ABC This Week with George Stephanopoulos. He wants the indictment before asking for dismissal, change of venue, or any other legal move. Julie Walker, New York.
The family of an Arab-Israeli medical student shot dead by police at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque compound rejected on Sunday claims by the force that he grabbed and fired an officer's gun. The 26-year-old medical student was killed late Friday, hours after worshipers marking the Muslim holy month of Ramadan held prayers at the sacred site. Israeli police said he managed to take the gun and fired 2 bullets before being shot dead by officers. I'm Joe Ramsey.
This is VOA News. I'm Steve Karish. Donald Trump has arrived in New York before his historic booking and arraignment tomorrow on charges he paid an adult film star hush money to keep an alleged extramarital affair quiet before the 2016 election. AP correspondent Sagar Meghani has the story.
It's an unprecedented chapter in American history, the first ever president to face criminal charges. But Trump aides are betting it could boost his chances of winning the White House again. One says the campaign has raised some $7 million since word of the charges broke last week. His lawyers see it all differently. They're asking the judge to ban images of the arraignment. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Ukraine denies Russian claims to have captured the eastern city of Bakhmut. Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Wagner mercenary force spearheading the siege, said on Sunday that his troops have raised a Russian flag on the city center administrative building and taken control. Responding to these claims, Serhiy Shavarty, spokesperson for the Ukrainian Eastern Military Command, said that Ukrainian troops were holding the city as they repel numerous enemy attacks. A panel of UN rights experts on Monday named several high-ranking South Sudanese officials they say warrant criminal investigation and prosecution for their part in atrocities against civilians. The commission, which conducted a year-long investigation across 6 states in South Sudan and released a partial summary of its findings in March, said none of those named in the final report had so far faced any accountability for their crimes. For more on these and other top stories, visit us online at voanews.com. This is VOA News. An arrest has been made in the assassination of Russian military blogger Vladlen Tatarsky, who was killed in a bomb attack in a St. Petersburg cafe on Sunday, in which some 30 other people were also wounded. Russian authorities said on Monday that Daria Trepova, a 26-year-old woman from St. Petersburg, had been arrested. The Interior Ministry earlier placed her on its wanted list but gave no further information about her. Burkina Faso's government has expelled 2 French journalists following the publication of a report about alleged child executions in military barracks. The move is the latest in a crackdown on French media by the West African country. Annika Hammerschlag reports from Dakar.
Libération correspondent Agnès Fèvre and Le Monde reporter Sophie Douce were summoned by Burkina military authorities for questioning Friday and later given 24 hours to leave. The pair arrived in Paris Sunday. Burkina Faso's ruling military junta has given no reason for the expulsions. Reports say there was no comment from the French Foreign Ministry. In a statement, Libération said the junta was angered by its March 27th report about an investigation into a video that showed a soldier killing children and adolescents. According to Libération, social media reports say Burkina officials accused Fèvre and Douce of infiltrating the country and of being paid to create false testimonies. The newspaper said Burkina Faso's restrictions on the freedom to inform are a sign of a power that does not allow its actions to be questioned. Annika Hammerschlag for VOA News, Dakar, Senegal.
After Sunday's elections, Finland's prime minister is ousted as conservatives win a tight vote. Charles de Ledesma has the story.
Finnish voters have given a boost to conservative parties in a weekend election, depriving the popular left-wing Prime Minister Sanna Marin of another term, as the country prepares to make its historic entry into NATO in a day's time. Marin won popularity for her cabinet's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and for her EU nation's strong support for Ukraine following Russia's invasion. But Sunday's election was largely fought over economic issues, with voters in the nation of 5.5 million people shifting their allegiances significantly to parties on the political right as they seek solutions to economic problems. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A court in India has suspended the 2-year prison sentence handed down to opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, pending his appeal in a criminal defamation case that led to his expulsion from Parliament ahead of next year's general elections. A lawmaker who's convicted and sentenced to prison for a prison term of more than 2 years faces disqualification from Parliament, according to Indian law. I'm Steve Karish. This is VOA News.